This is Homegrown, a SoccerYanks.com podcast, our home for domestic soccer. My name is Jay, also known as Rescinded Red. The Homegrown podcast was supposed to be a monthly podcast for Soccer Yanks to cover domestic soccer, MLS, NASL, USL Pro, lower division, college, and the national team. However, sometimes there's some really interesting stories and topics that need to be discussed between podcasts. This is one of them. We're going to call them supplemental podcasts. I had the opportunity to cover the National Premier Soccer League Championship game, and I wanted to do a bit of a warning to everybody that this podcast, for lack of a better term, noisy. I wanted listeners to get a feel of what this game sounded like. I expected a very boisterous match, as Red Bull supporters are some of the most boisterous fans in the MLS. As well, I wanted soccer fans to get a sense of what Chattanooga FC fan base sounds like. These fans traveled 800 miles to see their team play at Red Bull Arena. I felt it was important for people to understand the atmosphere. The fans were almost as much as the story as the game. In this podcast, I'm going to have interviews Chattanooga FC General Manager Sean McDaniel and Chattanooga President Tim Kelly, Man of the Match Joe Farrell, and the National Premier Soccer League Chairman Joe Barone. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it sounds great for you. I hope you get a sense of what the stadium felt like. If you listen to it a little bit and you don't like it, it's an experiment. That's one of the beauties about being part of independent media. You can try things out, and if it fails, it's fine. You guys can delete it. I don't mind. So I hope you enjoy if you listen, and thank you. I'm at Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey for the National Premier Soccer League Championship match between Chattanooga FC and Red Bull's U23 team. Chattanooga fans traveled more than 800 miles to support their club as the team goes for their first title in what is considered the fourth tier in the U.S. soccer pyramid. The Baby Bulls, also going for the first NPSL title, has experienced tremendous regular season success in their history, but similar to their senior team, failed to achieve any playoff success. The Red Bulls are attempting to achieve perfection as they go for 16-0-0. Coming into this match tonight, they've outscored their competition 64-7. If you haven't guessed it yet, behind me is the Chattahooligans doing their march to the match. They started at the bowels of Red Bull Arena and marched up to section 118, what's now being called the North Ward. Now let's go to my interview with Chattanooga FC General Manager Sean McDaniel and President Tim Kelly.
Any challenges regarding recruiting in your area? There's not a lot of colleges in the area. You do have one university. You have Chattanooga of Tennessee University in your area, but do you have any challenges getting players of the quality who you like in Division IV soccer?
Yeah, actually, recruiting is probably one of the easier things that happened for us because of the great fan support we've had since day one 6 years ago. It's quite easy to get guys to come see that environment, to see the thousands of fans, to see the facilities, and really understand that this is a special place to play.
What is the team's organizational philosophy? Most teams come into the NPSL. There's an issue where teams come in, especially last year. There's a big expansion. They kind of fold. Do you think that you have as an organization, have a individual philosophy that makes your team thrive and go over the long term?
So, yes. I mean, we're very much connected to Chattanooga and Chattanooga's sense of civic pride and sense of place. We have one AA baseball team in Chattanooga that's affiliated with the Dodgers. We'd like to think of Chattanooga FC as a completely homegrown, authentic sports, phenomenon that people can get behind, not only for their love of soccer, but for their love of Chattanooga. So we really try to connect ourselves with the city civically in every way that we can, and really capture that sense of pride in the city of Chattanooga.
Do you have internally kind of growth projections over the years, or is this going beyond what you guys would imagine?
Well, again, something that helps us is the fact that we do have 5 years under our belt, now 6. And every year, when we evaluate what did we do right and what did we do wrong, fan retention is priority number 1. And everything from selling homegrown beer to making it easy to buy merchandise to making the price point on the tickets very, very affordable are things that we've been able to really flesh out each season to know, hey, we need to do this again next year. And every year it just gets a little easier. We tighten it up just a little more to really to find out what works best to draw the fans.
But that being said, we keep track of attendance per capita. I mean, we have a spreadsheet that shows metro area and average attendance per game, and we are, I think Salt Lake City is probably ahead of us there are a few cities that are, but I think this year's World Cup really raised the bar. It changed the metric. I don't think we would have, Sean or I would have expected that we could have drawn 9,000 games to a non-exhibition game, 9,000 fans, excuse me. But we did. So it really is now we have to raise that bar one more time and go, what really is the upper limit of what we should be shooting for? And it's very encouraging.
Do you guys have a marker for next year, or the next projecting for next, say, 3 to 5 years?
We don't keep, set projections per se. I think we've been successful because we've controlled our expenses very well. We rely very heavily on volunteers from our board. We only have a couple of paid positions on the board. Nobody's getting rich from this team. And we do it because we love it, and we love the city, and we love soccer. So that has a lot to do with it. I mean, as we do better financially, hopefully we'll be able to do more and leverage ourselves up. But that's the secret to our success, at least partially, is low overhead for sure.
You guys have multiple best 11 players from the league. Is there anybody, if someone gets back and be able to watch this game on YouTube or just watch a Chattanooga game at all, who do you think is a standout talent that might be able to get to the next level?
You mean on our team right now? Yeah, so I think one of the things that has helped us on the field this year is depth and not carrying injuries. And so those two things, when Tim and I and the rest of our board sat down last year and said, hey, what do we need to do? What do we need to do to get it over the hump? It was to make sure we invest in our players, giving them great places to be healthy, have a good environment for them. But beyond that, we've got veteran leadership. Our goalkeeper is the best in the country and has been for 2 years running. Our striker, Luke Winter, is a 3 or 4 year veteran with us. Chris Oching, 3 or 4 years. We have guys who've been in this environment year after year and honestly have played on stages pretty close to what we're going to see tonight as far as fan base and knowing what to expect when we get to this end.
So I know what to add to that. Going back to your question about recruiting, that's the reason why, in a city the size of Chattanooga, we don't have a ton of assets to offer players. We don't have a lot of money and things to throw at it, but they know that we always say this, we do what we say we're going to do, and it is such an incredible environment for fans, for players, that they know they can come there and just have a phenomenal experience. I think if you ask any of them, they would tell you the same thing.
So for the Red Bulls in New Jersey, there's a huge history of soccer. Actually, we are maybe 3 miles from the location of the first ever U.S. national team game. The Carney Scots are not far from here. It's a big historical team. Do you have any challenges being in the South? There's not as much soccer history.
Yes, because there is nothing greater than going to church in the South except for American football.
Yeah.
And so therefore, the fan of the sport of soccer is probably a little more difficult to attract to the beautiful game. However, Chattanooga has seemed to develop a following more so because it's their team. There's such a sense from the community that we're glad they play soccer, but beyond that, this is Chattanooga's team. This is ours. Pride.
Not a franchise extension, but an authentically, completely Chattanooga thing. And the other thing we found found is that social media had a lot to do with this. There were a lot of people that really love soccer, but they sort of secretly love soccer. But maybe, in the South, quite frankly, growing up, you'd get made fun of a lot of times for being a soccer fan. It was like admitting that you spoke French, and so, but slowly but surely, people are sort of coming out of the woodwork going, it's okay. We love soccer, and that's, I think, what we've showed in Chattanooga is that, that they're there, man. The fans are there. If you build it, they really will come.
Is there anything else you guys want to add? Possibly challenges of your particular team? Just how you're successful in the community?
Well, the thing I would add, again, beyond Chattanooga, here's what we love to see. There's no shame in saying that we are proud. The Chattanooga Football Club are proud of setting the bar where it is. But I think what we're even more prouder of is that other cities have done as well. Tulsa, Detroit City. We brought Nashville in this year. Knoxville's done well. Miami FC United has really stepped up their level. And so, as good as we think we have it in Chattanooga, it's even better to see that the league also is got more and more teams with similar success.
And I would add to that we took the philosophy a few years back. I can remember having this conversation that we could either help these other teams get organized and help take the philosophy that the rising tide carries all boats, or not shut them out and continue to beat them. But we took the first philosophy, and it's helped, and it's really created the NPSL. I would argue I'd say it's healthier than the USL Pro in the southeastern U.S. and it's worked. I mean, obviously it's tough. We saw what Nashville did this year. They're a very impressive organization. We were lucky to beat them, but they're going to be tough to compete with. But at the end of the day, it really it helps making the league better makes us better. So that's the philosophy we've adopted and the way we're staying with it.
I'm here with El Conductor, the Chattanooga. Are you a Chattanooga hooligan?
I'm a Chattahooligans.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm sorry, Chattahooligans.
Yes.
Chattahooligans. You're one of the capos?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Tell me your experience coming to this arena, professional arena, big clubs here, big city. Tell me about the experience and how you anticipate this match is going to be.
Oh wow, we're very excited. I mean, we most of us got on a 55 passenger bus, drove 12 hours to get up here. It's just great. We're excited for the team to get to play in a great venue like this. We're hoping as many folks as possible stay after the MLS game to watch us. But we're very excited. We think this is a great venue to have the finals in.
The Red Bull Arena has great acoustics. You will hear from everywhere. Are you going to be able to yell the probably maybe 200 or so Red Bull supporters on the opposite end?
Yes, well, we brought over 100 supporters of our own, so I think we'll keep up. I think we'll be all right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I didn't get any Red Bull for the management pregame. I figure I can provide a little bit of color to the Red Bulls in this area. I am a Red Bull season ticket holder and a lifelong resident of the New Jersey metro area. So what's different between the Red Bulls and Chattanooga FC, as you heard in the interview prior, Chattanooga FC recruits mostly NIAI college players, whereas in the Red Bulls, you recruit a lot of Division I players. There are multiple, I want to say almost a dozen Division I soccer programs in New Jersey metro area. It is obviously a MLS affiliate franchise, so they're going to have a lot more resources for players, even though both NPSL and PDL are considered the fourth tier of the U.S. soccer pyramid. Different regions of the country have different strengths. So in Cascadia, PDL would be stronger than, say, in the metro area where NPSL is a stronger league for these players and these teams. Doesn't mean that the South, like they said, the South is getting stronger and it's developing. But I can tell you, after watching a few games, after covering the U.S. Open Cup between the Brooklyn Italians and the Jersey Express, that NPSL is strong in the Northeast region. And the Red Bulls doing what they did in this region in their conference is a massively impressive achievement. The Red Bulls U23 team defeated Chattanooga FC 3-1 in a thrilling and entertaining match. Red Bull center back Joe Farrell scored the game-winning goal in the 83rd minute off the team's ninth corner. It was a come-from-behind victory for New York as Chattanooga's Luke Winter scored a poacher's goal when he put in a rebound off a Luis Triad shot that hit the crossbar in the 15th minute. In less than 10 minutes, the Red Bulls' Scott Thompson tied the game as the Red Bulls' swift passing got Thompson alone in the box with Chattanooga keeper Greg Hartley. He beat near post. Then in the 90th minute, Sammy Ajad put the game away. Passed the defender with a clear shot at goal. Hartley saved the first shot, and Sammy got the rebound and put it in. The difference in the match was depth for the Red Bulls. Sammy Ajad came in the second half and used his speed to stretch out the well-organized Chattanooga defense. Chattanooga FC lost their scorer, Luke Winter, to the second half, so was unable to replace his scoring touch. Now let's go to interview with man of the match, Joe Farrell.
Biggest crowd you guys played in all season. Did the supporters carry you to the match? Did you guys feel the energy behind you?
Oh, yeah. The crowd was huge. They were chanting in the 80th minute, and my legs were beat, but we got one at the end, and it was a huge part to them.
Is this as physical as a match you guys used to? That you really came out there to really push you guys early?
Well, the college level is so physical, so this was very, very close to that, but this is more technical as well, so it was a good mix of the both.
All right, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Finally, last interview NPSL Chairman Joe Barone on his thoughts on the night, the historic season by the Red Bulls U23 team, with his take on the crowd for the 2014 championship match.
So can you give me your feelings about tonight? How do you feel about this atmosphere? The fans stayed, they hung around. Can you tell me a little bit something about that?
Look, the credit goes to the Red Bulls organization for believing in youth development, believing in this incredible team that went undefeated. That's part of history. It'll never be taken away. Simon Nee, who has worked with this group, the stage was very big tonight, and very, very smooth, high-level game. Chattanooga, who came out to play, and couldn't ask for a better atmosphere, and such a competitive game in a final of this magnitude.
When you saw the supporters on both sides, you saw Chattanooga came out here in full force, really came out here. Do you think that there's the future, a bigger future for this team?
Look, Chattanooga in the semifinal game, drew close to 9,000 people, 8,865, which is a record crowd in the NPSL, a record crowd for them. So their supporters group is one of the top, right? They could rival anybody in any soccer circle. But to show that the MLS side supporters stayed for the game to root on the future that's emerging for the Red Bulls, it goes to show you the passion that there is for the game itself in the United States. So we have a lot of growth in the last couple of years, and tonight was evident by the number of people who came up via bus from Chattanooga to support their team, and having the Red Bulls MLS side supporters staying to support the future, who's going to play and represent this club in the MLS level.
It was a good night for the Red Bull franchise and their fans as they got to watch the U23 team win their first NPSL title in Red Bull Arena. It was a good night for Chattanooga FC. Despite losing their third final in 5 years, they showed to be a well-coached team, well-organized, and their fans stayed with them the whole night. It was a good night for U.S. soccer in general. In terms of the quality you saw at the 4th Division soccer, and the passion in the stands. I'm Jason Sierra, also known as Rescind the Red on Twitter. This is Homegrown, a Soccer Yanks production.